What's good, y'all? It's your boy Plax, and I am back with another episode of The 3 on Plax TV. And in this video, I am talking about the 2025 WNBA Draft results. Now, let's get right into it. With the first pick in the WNBA Draft, the Dallas Wings selected Paige Beckers from UConn. We knew that was inevitable. But that barring any injuries or anything crazy like that, even if Paige would have got hurt, I think she still would have just ended up being the first pick anyway. Paige, again, like she just won a national championship against South Carolina, one of the best programs. UConn is one of the best programs in college basketball history, but South Carolina has recently just become one of the best with Dawn Staley running the show over there. And she beat them. She ended up beating them. She's been a top 2-3 player in the country since she's been in high school. And a lot of times when she wasn't hurt, she was the best player in the country since she's been in high school. And then you pairing her up with Arike Iguodala, who's basically her Kyrie Irving to Paige's Luka Doncic. Too soon? Sorry, anybody from Dallas. My apologies. It might be a little too soon for that, but yeah, she's her. She's her Kyrie Irving to Paige's Luka Doncic, on top of the power couple Dejanay Carrington and Alyssa Smith. Now, Dejanay Carrington, in her time in Connecticut the past 2 seasons, has turned into one of the best 3-and-D scoring defensive players in the league. She might be the best on-ball defender in the league, period. I think she won Most Improved Player last year. She's just been cooking. And you can't go wrong. She a dog. Like, you can't go wrong with having Dejanay Carrington on your team. She was a huge part of those Connecticut Suns teams. And the reason they only lost is because the Liberty and the Aces are super teams, and that's just hard to overcome. But those Connecticut Suns team, the sun is blown up now. But that team that was together was amazing. Her girl, Alyssa Smith. Now, some of y'all just started watching WNBA, so I understand y'all probably don't know about Alyssa Smith. She was on the Indiana Fever last year with Caitlin Clark. Being on that team, she wasn't able to shine, really, because you got Caitlin Clark, who's going to take her shot. You have Kelsey Mitchell, who's a bucket getter. She going to get her shots. You got Aaliyah Boston, who needs to get her touches as well. And that you got Lexi Hall as well, who kind of became a pivotal part in the offense later down the stretch of last season. That left Alyssa Smith kind of in the doghouse, so to speak. And which is a little disrespectful because she's a bucket getter, but at the same time, I just don't think she fit in the new offense that they were running with Caitlin running the show. And if you have a choice, what's more comfortable for Caitlin or what's more comfortable for Alyssa Smith? Alyssa, I'm sorry, you got to go, brother. And that's what ended up happening. It's unfortunate, but sometimes that's just what happens. But Alyssa Smith, historically speaking, is a bucket getter. And I think now she's going to be in a situation where she can do that. Yes, Paige is there. Yes, Arika is there, and they're going to get their shots. But now Alyssa becomes the third option instead of being the fourth or fifth option. You see what I'm saying? I feel like being the third option is better than being the fourth or fifth, especially when you're a scorer such as Alyssa Smith. And she gets to play with her girlfriend. Granted, hopefully we don't have any issues with that, because that could be a problem. We've seen that be a problem in the WNBA in the past, whether it be secretly, like rumor mill wise, or just openly. But hopefully, that isn't a problem. They're good to go, and that just makes the team a little bit stronger. And then at the 5, they have McCowan. Just a team full of dogs and bucket getters. And I think Dallas is going to be a real contender this year, even with Paige being a rookie. I think they have a chance to really make something happen and go on a run. Can they win it? Maybe not yet, but they're going to be close. They definitely going to be close, and they moving in the right direction for sure. With the second pick, the Seattle Storm picked Dominique Malonga from France. She's 6'6", which some of you got for the WNBA, that's the size of a center. 6'6", really 6'5" and up is basically a big in the WNBA, if you didn't know. But Dominique Malonga, she's from France. People have been calling her the female Victor Wembanyama, which is fucking scary. And I've seen some of her. I actually seen a video of her like 3 years ago. She's like 19, 20 now, so when she was like 16 or something like that. I seen a video of her dunking with ease, by the way, at that time. And she's only gotten better now. She moves very well for her size. She can shoot a little bit, and like I said, she's dunking with ease. Like it's not like a shocker or a rim graze or something like that. Like she's off the pivot, spin move dunking, like Shaq dunking. And shout out to Rakia Jackson. I love Rakia Jackson for the Sparks. She tweeted out, "Please don't let me be the first player in the WNBA to get dunked on." And Rakia, I'm so sorry. You might be, baby. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. You might be, because if she's gonna be starting for the Storm, I think a lot of people are gonna be getting dunked on, and it's gonna be scary, especially with her skill set. She averaged a double double in EuroLeague basketball and the Euro Cup for women. She averaged a double double. She was pretty dominant there. And pair her up with Nneka Ogwumike and her being able to learn under her, we might have a monster on our hands. We might have another dominant big like a Lisa Leslie or a Candace Parker on our hands with Dominique Malonga. I can't wait to see what she does. Also, too, the Storm are just fucking stacked, man. They just got basically Wemby, which is scary. They have Skylar Diggins-Smith, Nneka Ogwumike, Gabby Williams, Lexi Brown, who's a shooter, Erica Wheeler, who was just on the Indiana Fever, who's a great defender, just a solid role player off the bench who can score a little bit, play a little bit of defense, and can facilitate for you if you need her to. Alicia Clark from Las Vegas. I didn't even know. I thought she was still in Vegas, so I'm just surprised to see her on a different team. I didn't even know when I was doing research for this video. I didn't even know she was gone. So that's crazy within itself. That's a champ right there. That's just a solid player right there who reminds me a lot of De'Erica Hamby. I think Hamby's just slightly better than her, but a slightly worse De'Erica Hamby is a championship level player, and I'll take it. They also got Katie Lou Samuelson, and they also have Zaya Cook and Nika Mule. This team is super stacked, and they might, besides the Liberty and the Aces, because they're always going to be the favorites until those teams break up. Besides those two teams, Seattle might be my favorite again. Because, like, you got Gabby Williams. Gabby Williams didn't play as good as I thought she would coming into the season last year. But, I mean, who knows? Maybe she could turn it up this year. Also, she's not the number one option either, like Nneka and Skylar. She got to share the ball, so that's understandable as well. But just how stacked this team is and how solid they are, I think they got to be real contenders, and you got to watch out for them. And they might be able to upset the Liberty or upset the Aces in the championship. Who knows? We'll see what happens. Especially when you add Dominique Victor Wembanyama Malonga onto your team. I think they just in a real good spot. But I'm going to move on to the next picks. The next picks were both by the Washington Mystics. They had the third and fourth pick. They got, who did they get? They got Sonia Citron from Notre Dame. I don't know too much about her to comment much, but I do know that she's just a very good 3-and-D player, and she's just known to just be incredibly solid, and she's ready to be a pro right now. That's part of the reason why she went third. Like, she's not the best player on the board or anything like that, but she's definitely just, I guess, what can you say, destined for a long, successful career. She's just a super solid player, and she's ready to be a pro right now. And I think that's why Washington went with that pick. With their fourth pick, they got Kiki Irifin from USC. I know a little bit about her. She's more of like a post player. She's very similar to Aaliyah Edwards. That's why this pick was a little confusing, because you already have Aaliyah Edwards on the team. I don't know if you're trying to Twin Towers it to counteract teams like Chicago and LA. Maybe that's what they're trying to do. If that's the case, that's awesome. It's just with a lot of the picks that the Mystics made, as solid as the players are, it was just a little confusing. It seems like they're just grabbing players. I think with the Arifin pick, I hope I'm saying her name right. With the Arifin pick, I think they were just taking the best player on the board possible, which is fine. But I just wish it just seemed like they didn't have a plan going into the draft. And they just were like, hey, we got 2 or 3 picks in the first round. Let's just make something happen. And hopefully it works out for them. But usually when teams do that, it doesn't. They got another pick in the first round as well that I'll go over in a second. With the 5th pick, the Golden State Valkyrie, they picked, I'm going to butcher this, Juste Jacte from Lithuania. I hope I said that right. Just a solid, crafty guard. She's very skilled. She's 6 foot. She is currently playing in France in the French league. Again, I don't know too much about her. I just know that she's crafty and she's a good shooter and she's very good at facilitating. So hopefully, Golden State maybe lucked up and got a little hidden gem in there. Who knows? I'm really excited to see what Golden State does. I know they're an expansion team, but I like their squad. And I just can't wait to see what they do. Expansion teams are always exciting. And hopefully they could have some remnants of success. There's more expansion teams coming into the WNBA. Like I believe the Tennessee Summits. Who else? It's a couple other teams that'll be joining the WNBA very soon. And that's just super exciting because the league is growing. The players are getting more popular. And as a WNBA fan, I love to see it. But let's go on to the Mystics' 6th pick, or the Mystics' 3rd pick. It was pick 6. They ended up getting Georgia Amore from Kentucky. She's a little bit of a smaller guard, but she's super electric offensively. Like she's a little bit of a smaller guard, but she's super electric offensively. A great facilitator, a great scorer, a great leader. Now, she's going to have a lot of trouble on the defensive end. And, not to put this on her, I really like her. But she may end up getting cut because she's just so small. She's 5'6". Defensively, that's going to be really tough for her. But if she can find a way to elevate herself on the defensive end, or at least not be a liability, while also elevate herself offensively and just doing the great things that she's been doing in Kentucky on offense, I think she'll be good. But her defensive issues might be a problem. That's the one thing about her. But hopefully she has a long, great career in the WNBA and it's not too much of an issue. Number 6, the Connecticut Sun. They also had pick 8 as well. The Connecticut Sun are basically in rebuild mode. And I think they started off beautifully because they got Anissa Morrow from LSU. I think that in another draft, maybe next year, if it would have been next year or year after or something like that, Anissa would have been the first pick. I love Anissa Morrow. She got overshadowed by Angel Reese and Haley Van Lith and Flau'jae Johnson and different players like that. But Anissa Morrow, I think, besides Paige and Dominique, is the 3rd best player in this draft. If I'm being completely honest with you. Like, she's a consistent double-double machine. She led the division in double-doubles last year. I think she led the division in double-doubles the year previous to that as well. She's a really good defender. She plays hard every single game. And if she was on a different team in college, I think she'd be a top pick in any draft, whether it be this year, last year, whatever. I think she would have ended up being a top 3, top 5 pick. But the Connecticut Sun just came up. I think they got a gem, a sleeper pick, if you ask me. And I think going forward, she's going to have a great career. And I think with the Connecticut Sun rebuilding, they're not going to be that good, but she's going to get to show off her skill set and just really maybe even be an all-star. Who knows? But I think I would have took her 3rd. Me personally, but Connecticut Sun had pick 8, the Los Angeles Sparks had pick 9, and the Chicago Sky had pick 10 and 11. So, Picks 8 through 10, I'm going to be completely honest with you guys, I don't know much about. The Connecticut Sun, pick 8, they got Sanaya Rivers from NC State. The Los Angeles Sparks, pick 9, they got Sarah Ashley Barker from Alabama. And pick 10, the Chicago Sky got Aja Sveka from Slovenia. Now, I don't know much about these players. I don't really have too much to comment on. Like I said, the Sun are rebuilding, so it's just good for them to get young players. So hopefully Sanaya is a solid player for them. The Sparks, just in general, the Sparks are in a good spot. They're just looking great. They got Rakia. They got Cam Brink. Who else did they just got? I think they just got somebody else too. Yes, they got Kelsey Plum. They got De'Erica Hamby. They got Ray Burrell. Rakia Jackson. They got Azura Stevens. But they just got Kelsey Plum in the offseason. Kelsey Plum is a dog and a bucket getter. She's going to get to show out. Like, she kind of, I wouldn't say got overshadowed, but she was on a team with Asia Wilson, the best player in the world. Then you had Chelsea Gray, who needs the ball in her hand because she's the point guard. Then you have Jewel Lloyd, another scorer. So it was tough for Kelsey to really get her shit off, if I'm being honest with you. You know, it was just tough for her to do her thing fully. Now, on this team with a bunch of young players, it's her squad. And she got dogs with her. You pair up with De'Erica Hamby. Cam Brink, who's proved to be a lockdown defender down low. She just ended up getting hurt. Hopefully those injuries don't become a thing and it's just a one-time thing. And then Rakia Jackson, who, like I said before, who I love, who's just a solid player. She can score. She plays defense. Again, another player, Azura Stevens. I really like her. She really showed out. Maybe not so much during the WNBA season, but during the Unrivaled season, she really turned it up and showed how good of a player she could actually be. That squad is going to be a problem. This is another team that may shock some people because they're a little younger. And Kelsey Plum, this is really like not her first time, but her first time in a while being the number one option. So there may be some growing pains with that, but I think later on in the WNBA season, they're gonna give people a go, and it's gonna be something, and it's gonna be fun to watch. I think they're gonna be super fun to watch, and I can't wait to see what LA does. I'm gonna make sure I tune into their games. And then Chicago Sky had the number 10 pick, and they picked Aja. She's from Slovenia. I don't know much about her. From what I could see here on the note, she's a bit of a shooter. So that's just a good addition with Cardoso and Angel Reese down there. You know, giving them the ball in the post. Somebody comes to double, or Angel Reese gets her 7th rebound in one play, and then she kicks it out. That's something that Angel Reese, I hope she figures out, that she learns to, kick the ball out. On the second rebound, just kick it out. Let's get a reset. That's my biggest pet peeve with her. A lot of people try to make fun of her, but, I mean, they got to stop her from getting the rebound. And they don't. So, I mean, yeah, she be better on finishing? Yes, of course. But they're not stopping her from getting the boards, so she's got to be doing something right, at least in that sense. With the 11 pick, the Chicago Sky had back-to-back picks. They had 10, and they also had 11. And this is a motherfucking banger. They got Haley Van Lith. HVL. I am super proud of her, man, because she just had a bit of a rough time over the past couple years. With Caitlin Clark really abusing her on national TV a couple times. Just a super rough season at LSU, and it wasn't really her fault. I just think the coach at LSU just didn't really know what to do with her, and she had too much on her plate, and I think she just put Haley in a bad position. I don't think she did it on purpose, but it just ended up didn't working out. Haley is a scorer. She's a Devin Booker build type of player. So when you try to set her up to be a facilitator and a defender and make that her job, you're just kind of setting her up for failure. And then she gets to go to Chicago to team back up with Angel Reese. Angel Reese tweeted out, "We didn't do it right the first time. Let's run it back." I'm super excited. If the Chicago Sky coach is going to let Haley be Haley, then she's going to thrive. She's going to be an all-star at some point. She's gonna score a lot of points. She's gonna do her thing. If they try to put her in a box and turn her into something that she's not, I think that's gonna be bad, and it's just not gonna work out. But hopefully they don't do that. The one bright side from Haley being at LSU was that she learned how to be a facilitator, because at TCU, I think she led the team in assists and in scoring from her time in LSU. And in TCU, like I said, she just turned it all the way around. She had a wonderful season. Yes, they got knocked out in the Elite Eight, but it wasn't due to lack of effort, and it wasn't due to bad play. And then, like I just said about Sivka, who they got at pick 10, you got a shooter, and you got an elite scorer, Haley Van Lith, to pair them up with Cardoso and Angel Reese, who are back to the basket bigs, just dominant bigs. Yes, on top of having Chennedy Carter, and they got Courtney Vandersloot as well, who's one of the greatest shooters in WNBA history, along with Rebecca Allen and Kia Nurse, two more shooters. I think this is the best situation for Chicago. You got Angel Reese, you got Cardoso, who are just dominant bigs. You put a bunch of shooters around them, and you make something happen, and you try to go on a run. I think Chicago, again, is going to, at the very least, be better than last year. I don't know if they're ready to be contenders just yet, but I think they're definitely going to surprise some people. A little similar to LA. Maybe not exactly the same, but definitely similar to LA. I think they're going to show a lot of people that they're here to stay, especially if they let Haley Van Lith do her thing and be a scorer like she is. That's just who she is. And then, with the last pick in the WNBA Draft, the 2025 WNBA Draft, in the first round at least, the Dallas Wings ended up picking Asia James from NC State. A lot of people from NC State got picked in the first round. Maybe I was missing something. I didn't know they were cooking like that. Yeah, but they ended up picking Asia James. Like I said, I don't know much about NC State. I do know that Asia, her shooting has been a little bit questionable at times, but like she's just a solid leader and she's a good defender, and I think that'll take her a long way, especially if she figures out a way to improve her shooting. Yeah, I think she'll be good for Dallas. Dallas already looks stacked, so they don't need a whole bunch. Just a solid defender, a solid backup guard to help out with Enrique and Paige. I think they're in a good spot. I don't think they need another scorer necessarily. She should work on her jumper. You know, just generally, it's generally to be good to be able to knock down an open shot. But other than that, solid pick. So that was the first round. I'm not gonna go into the second round or anything like that. I think this is gonna be a great class. It's just a lot of solid people. Paige is gonna be a superstar, barring any injuries. Dominique Malonga, I think she's gonna be a superstar as well. Haley Van Lith is gonna be a superstar. Mark my words on that. Also, Kiki Irfin and Anissa Morrow, I think they're going to be all-stars at the very least at some point. Yeah, I think this is just a solid draft. I don't know who's going to be coming out next year. These last two drafts have been pretty stacked up. I don't know if next year is going to be the same. But we still got to see, you know, what the tournament is like in 2026. Maybe we get some new young ladies. I don't think Juju... But prayers out to Juju as well. Prayers out to Juju Watkins. She got hurt real bad. I think she tore her ACL or something crazy like that. Hopefully she comes back fully healthy and ready to go and without too much drop off or no drop off at all. But I don't think Juju's coming out, especially after the injury. I think she got a few more years in college to go. So I don't know who's coming out next year. I'll check out some mock drafts and try to get some information for you guys. But I'm just super excited for the season. I think the WNBA is going to have a wonderful season this year, just like they did last year, but better. I think they're going to make a little bit more money. I think they're going to improve. I think they got a new deal as well, so they're going to be on NBC and different channels like that. So that's awesome. I'm just excited, and I've been a WNBA fan for a very long time, even before it was cool to be a WNBA fan. If you look on my page, you'll see all my old videos about how the WNBA is great and people should tune in and stuff like that. And it's just beautiful to see people finally doing that. Like, the draft got a lot of coverage. People were excited about the draft, tweeting about it. Um, speculating, getting mad about draft picks. Like, oh, why would the Mystics pick this person and all that? Like, people were engaged in the draft. And that's just beautiful to see, man. I'm super excited to see where the WNBA goes. And just women's basketball in general, because the college side of it is a huge part of that as well. And overseas, too. But let me know what you think in the comment down below. Do you think, somebody else should have went first? You probably don't. I highly doubt if you do. Do you think some people made some dumb picks? I'm personally a little confused on what the Mystics are doing. Again, like I said, like their picks just seem very confusing. Just everything that the Mystics are doing just seem very confusing. But they remind me of the Bulls in the NBA. If you check out my playoff predictions video, I was talking about how confusing the Bulls are. The Knicks. What the fuck? The Mystics remind me a lot of the Bulls in the NBA because I just don't know what the fuck they're doing. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. Let me know any other videos you guys would like me to do. It doesn't always have to be basketball related. If it's music related, reaction videos, stuff I could do on stream, check me out on Twitch at Plax_TV if you want to see me live. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you comment. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you ding that notification bell so you know every time I drop a video. And most of all, YouTube, I love you guys. Peace out.
It's the 3 on Plax TV.
Oh, Plax TV.